There's a Chase Bank right there. Why is it that every time that anyways, I seem to be plagued by Chase Bank and McDonald's. But
Palo Verde Avenue at Spring
here we are on the bus
Street,
going somewhere.
Route
Not sure
104,
where.
Willow
Looks
Street,
like
Spring
Spring,
Street, Milliken High School.
Milligan High School, Militant High School, whatever. I have no idea. We'll just go to the end of the line, see what's there, or maybe get off before, see what's there. See the world, I suppose. Everybody got real quiet all of a sudden. What's going on in the world, guys? What's happening? Why are we all so crazy anymore? What happened to us as a species that we ended up killing the world for fun and Coca-Cola? We used to be a smart species. We used to write symphonies and sonnets and verses of the Vedas. And then we chose Coca-Cola and Spider-Man. Cannibalism and pedophilia. How do we get from there to here? And more importantly, what to do before the collapse. Collapse is everywhere. I can see it in the people's hearts. Their faith in the system, their faith in the religions shattered, destroyed. What is there left? Faith in their cell phones, in big tech, and AI and rock. The new gods are winning. The old gods forgotten. And it's cloudy out there. Very cloudy. Where do the clouds come from? What are clouds? I think this ends up in the university.
Palo Verde Avenue at Wardlow Road.
And it's, if I'm not mistaken, today there's a flea market up there. So, but I'm not sure. I've never actually taken this line before, all the way out. Kind of fun. Go where you've never been. My heart is a mixture of fun and sadness. Sadness because, there's still a war going on in Iran. People don't know much of what's going on. They're all curious, they're all confused. And fun because I'm somewhere I've never been before, doing stuff I've never done before. In a totally novelty space. Novelty's good. Palo Verde Avenue. Coyotes. So, the impression I get is that I can no longer go back to anonymity. Too late for that. And being, well, know, has its advantages, but also disadvantages. A lot of haters out there. Um, However, hearts and minds is what the U.S. Army does best. Hearts and minds is what we're trying to connect with. That means being truthful to myself, to who I am and what I want,
Calvary Avenue.
but also being
at
truthful to
Carson
everybody
Street.
else.
Transfer to Route 101, Carson Street.
You can't
Norwalk
hide what
Boulevard.
you are, but you can be what you are proudly and without threat or without threatening others. It's kind of the point, I suppose. You are, let's say you're a cannibal and you eat people. Well, how do you explain that to somebody that is not a cannibal in a way that is non-threatening to them? It's like, no, I'm not going to eat you, but I have eaten human flesh and actually it's kind of tasty. It's difficult. But it's kind of the job. You can see cannibals usually hide from non-cannibals. There's more non-cannibals than cannibals out there. But cannibalism does give you a little umph. Soylent Green is not a thing. It's a real thing. Kind of like gives you a little edge. You know, Morlocks and Eagle Eye. I guess, what's his name? Time Machine. God, who wrote the Time Machine? My dad met him. H.G. Wells. Yeah, H.G. Wells. Asimov.
Calvary Avenue.
Anyways,
at
the Time Machine.
Centralia Street.
The Vedas talk about that. They say that people are going to be divided into two species. Human beings will be divided into two different species. One that eats the other and one that eats vegetables. Vegetarians. Tall, blonde vegetarians and swarthy little green cannibals. Basically goblins and elves. And elves are really annoying if you're a goblin. Not as annoying as a goblin to an elf, obviously, but basically, that's what I see happening right now. You know, it's like there's a very small minority of non-aggressive, peaceful, gentle humans, and a large majority of very aggressive meat eaters. And they're kind of separating violently into two groups. And the meat eaters are, of course, eating each other, because that's what meat eaters do. And the tall, blonde vegetarians are kind of like saying, no, we're out of this. Let's just go to the hills, or the mountains, or the deserts, wait it out.
At Delano
Let you guys devour
Boulevard.
each other.
Transfer to Route 191. Santa Fe
And I guess that
Avenue,
also has to do
Delano
with religion.
Boulevard.
You know, on the one hand you have Muslims, on the other hand you have Christians. Everybody hates the Jews. And then you have the Hare Krishnas and the aliens and all the little fringe, tiny groups that don't want anything to do with that conversation. And the conversation is the narrative. That's the key to survival. It's like, okay, so we're cannibal Christians eating the body of Christ and drinking his blood. And here's the Jews that say they're not idolaters, but they're fighting amongst themselves, which makes them not Jews. And here's the Muslims, who are also not idolaters, that are also fighting amongst themselves to control the Ummah. So none of them are actually telling the truth. All of them are lying. And they're lying to themselves. So who's telling the truth? And what is the truth? Truth is very intelligent, sorcerer cannibals rule the world. They've done so for many hundreds of years. All the way from Count Dracula and before. They really haven't changed that much over the years either. They know how to divide and conquer. They know how to take people and enslave them into their narratives. And it's kind of boring. It's kind of useless. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't evolve the consciousness of the little people. You know? Little people are still stuck in fight or flight modes without really having a chance to rethink themselves and their needs because they haven't seen anything better. They haven't seen anything, really. Not saying that you guys should become cannibals, but (5-MeO-DMT) does help.
South Street at Palo Verde Avenue. Transfer to Route 172, PCH, Palo Verde Avenue.
Soma. I guess they would call it Soma. The futurists, the people guiding the evolution of consciousness, the very people aware of the historical process and how it can be manipulated. I don't know. A lot of money and effort and work has gone into
South Street at
the evolution of consciousness.
Transfer to Route 192.
A lot of sacrifices have
Santa
been
Fe
made.
Avenue, South Street.
And here we are on Santa Fe and what? Studebaker, wherever that is. But the undeniable fact is that there's a war in the Middle East for dominion over the earth. And there's two groups, two fighting, actually there's three groups, three big groups. Russia, China, and the United States. Other smaller groups are vying for power, seeing how they can dominate and control the narrative for their own ends. But the three big ones are China, Russia, and the United States. Hubba, hubba, hubba. Who do you trust? Wherever you are, there you are. Now ask me about Mexico and what is best for Mexico in these times, in these hard times. I think the best for a country is the best for an individual. If you're in a place full of enemies, full of adversaries, and you see yourself outnumbered 10 to 1 or 20 to 1, you join them, you don't fight them. kind of the case with Israel, except that the Arabs, most of the Arabs anyways, want to truly, honestly exterminate every last Jew from the Holy Land. And the Anglophile world doesn't want that to happen for reasons of economic integrity, for one, primarily, but also religious, which is a weird thing to say when you talk about Anglos, because most Anglos that are like Christian are never following their own religion, unless they're really Satanists, in which case, of course, they do. Like Albert Pike and all that. The narrative is very close to what is happening right now, so it's hard to negate the fact that it exists. We don't know. We don't know. We don't have any way to really assess the truth right now. The truth is so compartmentalized, so specific, that we can only assume certain truths, like the fact that I'm in a bus somewhere in Long Beach. Now that's a reality, that's the truth, that's a fact. But beyond that fact, I don't really know much. Anyways, that's my thoughts for the moment. See you guys later.